Hey everyone, welcome into the offseason. I'm Cassie Carlson here at Hallis Hall as we just wrapped up mandatory minicamp, and I am joined this week by the Athletics' Adam Jahns. He is also the host of Hogue and Jahns, and 3 days of the Bears on the grass running through practice. What were your takeaways from the 3 days of practice?
Details, a lot of details.
And inside the details.
Yes, inside the details, beyond the details, everything's about the details. They're yelling about the details, they're talking about the details. I think details, we've said about a dozen times already in this show. I think I've heard it 50 times this week. Ben Johnson's obsession about the details is taking hold of Hallis Hall. I think that's the story. Kmet talked about it. Caleb Williams talked about it last week. It's really everything right now. He's obsessed with getting things right. If you get it wrong, he's going to correct you right away in the field. He's going to yell at you. He'll get on you. There may be some swear words in there, but I think it's good for the Bears right now.
How many years have you been covering the Bears? How many coaches have you seen?
Oh, how much time do we have? Since 2012, Lovie Smith's last year with the Bears.
Okay. Have you noticed a difference in the obsession with the details and the way they addressed it on the practice field, specifically with Ben Johnson?
I want to say the instantaneousness part. Is that even a word? How instantaneous it is.
They call it dead.
Dead, yes. Immediately as it happens, it's Cole Kmet during OTAs lined up and like a yard off inside the Walter Payton Center, and he's screaming at him, huddle back up, get it right. He wants to get him the ball out in the right flat. That is different. We've seen coaches do different things at different times here, going from Lovie Smith to Mark Trestman, Matt Nagy, John Fox. I think I got everybody in there. Thomas Brown counts too. So there's a lot of coaches. Some of them are sitting on couches right now. But there's been so many changes. But I can't remember a time where you saw a coach abruptly stop practice with a swear word or two, re-huddle the offense with a young quarterback to get it right. I don't think we've covered anything. I haven't covered anything like this before.
I think when I initially heard Ben Johnson doing it on the practice field, I like the approach to it, and then it's like, well, how do the players feel about it? So hearing someone like Cole Kmet talk about what went down in that scenario with him being a yard off in alignment, and then Ben Johnson joking with him after, like, hey man, I was trying to get you the ball. There's like kind of a levity to it in the same way. I feel like the players are appreciating it, and even DJ Moore kind of being introspective of, like, you start going through your mind, like, did I do the play right? Was it me?
Yeah.
Am I living up to the perfection that they are seeking? So I feel like if this ends up with the Bears winning games, like, this is going to be a good coaching style that's going to translate to the players. Do you agree with that?
Right, and that's all that really matters, as long as it works. Like, Matt Nagy did some good things, but then things changed and things fell off the rails a little bit. Like, Mark Trestman even had some success in his first season. Things fell off the rails a little bit, kind of terribly there. But with this, you hope the Bears have it right, because they're paying Ben Johnson this big contract. They have Caleb Williams, the #1 pick. Ben Johnson just led the 3 best offenses in the league for the past 3 seasons. He has done this before. Now you have to respond to it. If you're the players, you have to listen. You have to learn from it. You have to make the corrections instantly on the field and get it right off the field when you're reviewing it, during film review. I think some players needed this. If you listen closely, they wanted this. They needed this to happen in their careers. There's been so many losses, ugly losses, especially last season when you look at the Hail Mary, the Thanksgiving game. There was just so many blunders where things were blown on and off the field. If they get it right with this, and it makes sense on and off the field with what Ben Johnson wants to do, maybe the Bears finally have it right.
How do you think it translates to Caleb Williams? Because there was an interaction in a press conference where Ben Johnson was asked about a throw that Caleb Williams missed, and he said he was late on the throw, and then he was asked how did he respond when you told him about it. He was like, great, awesome. Like, how do you think that relationship is molding, if you were to guess?
Oh, he's going to be challenged. Now, Caleb Williams, he's on record saying that he wants to be coach started. Yes, yeah. You better be careful what you ask for. So we'll see exactly how hard he wants to be coached. I think this will be a great test for him, because Ben Johnson is going to be on that case. Like, if you're just talking about that play specifically, that was a completion to Roschon Johnson in the left flat that went for a first down. But as that play is happening, you have your head coach standing 10, 12 yards behind you, screaming, faster, faster. And he wasn't fast enough for his coach on that play. Maybe Roschon Johnson, if Caleb Williams is faster, that's a 20-yard gain instead of a 10, 12-yard gain and a first down. Still a positive play, but Ben Johnson thinks it could be better. We'll see how Caleb Williams responds to this, because I think this is going to be a story throughout training camp. Fans are going to be here. You're going to be able to see Caleb Williams getting yelled at.
Yeah, I think that's always interesting to see. Like, I first noticed it with Eric Bieniemy. Like, he wasn't gonna mince his words because the cameras were right in front of him. He's like, I'm gonna be who I am. And I get the sense that Ben Johnson, like, nothing's gonna falter how he coaches, whether it's fans out there, whether even if it's maybe Caleb Williams not loving the way he's being coached. Like, that is Ben Johnson's style, and that's kind of what the Bears signed up for when they hired him. Like, I don't think he's changing who he is to cater to that.
He shouldn't change. He shouldn't be afraid about the, when the questions come up about it, he shouldn't change because it's part of the conversation now. It's what got him here. If you talk to a lot of people in his background, he's always been that fiery person on the field, just very engaged, very competitive, very relentless in how he wants things done. Don't change. You've become the Bears head coach because of these traits, because you're so relentless and so detail-oriented during practice. This is what got you here. Don't change just because you got the spotlight and people are talking about you more than ever.
It seems like he handled the situation with Cole Kmet extremely well. Cole Kmet admitted he was taken aback when the Bears drafted Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
Then he said Ben Johnson called him and kind of told him why and how they could fit and complement each other. And also, as Cole Kmet said, his goal is now to become the best 12 tandem in the league. What were your impressions of, we know Cole Kmet's a mature guy, but the way that he approached and handled and also told his side of the story?
Yeah, the numbers say that there's a role for two tight ends in Ben Johnson's offense. If you look at what he did in Detroit, he used that 12 personnel a lot. But his second tight end wasn't as good as Cole Kmet. I'm not even sure he's the second tight end right now because we haven't seen Colston Loveland, but good for Cole for taking this on for what it is. It's not easy having a top 10 pick enter your position room where you've been the guy for 3-4 years and you've already gotten that second contract. This is your city, you're from here. This is not an easy situation for him, but I think he's being the leader the Bears hoped he'd be. He's being the professional that he should be at this point in his career, and I think he's just handling it like the veteran that he is. Is it going to be easy? I don't know. I think some targets will go to Colston Loveland. I think some plays will go elsewhere just because of how Ben Johnson wants to spread the ball around. But I think through that conversation, I think Ben Johnson made it very clear that Cole Kmet still has a home on the Chicago Bears.
We see Cole Kmet on the field. We don't see Colston Loveland on the field, which I think is hard for fans to maybe grasp because he was the top 10 pick, but this is something the Bears knew when they drafted him. Like, he's not going to be ready until August, let's hope, right? But you do see Jaquan Brisker back on the field, and the way he told his story about going through the concussion last year that kept him out for 12 games, like, it was almost like, wow, how in the world did this happen to this guy who's now playing for a contract extension in his 4th year? Seems super intense. You know that he loves football. He said he's not going to change the way he plays despite dealing with multiple concussions. Was that a surprise to you?
No, because it's almost similar to the Ben Johnson story because he got here playing this style. He got here being a violent defender, a downhill safety. That's what got him to the league. That's what put him on the NFL radars. That's what got him, to be a starter and a team captain at Penn State. So I don't think he's going to change. He shouldn't change. But you do feel for him because this is scary. Concussions are very scary because they're not all the same. You feel it differently. He felt it apparently throughout his body, which is very unique to hear, how he had to retrain his nervous system by doing all these read and reaction type things to get his body moving again. That's scary to feel for a young athlete, just like a young person, mid-20s, going through these changes, these feelings that aren't natural to him. So it's a scary thing, a scary episode to go through. But the way he plays, that's part of who he is. So to be out in the practice field and see him do
it's catching on, too. A couple other players are doing it now.
Yes, that's the passion, that's the fire, that's what made him a second-round pick for the Chicago Bears a couple years ago. That's what makes him a starter. That's what makes him Pro Bowl material when he's healthy. So if he changes that, I don't think the Bears are getting the same player. I don't think he wants to be a different player. So maybe finding that balance between health, safety, and violence.
Right.
It's difficult for players to find that, but that's his path now.
Yeah, we know the Bears need him on the field. They also missed Andrew Billings on the field last year. I loved his quote today about Dennis Allen. He said he's not going to sugarcoat it. He might add a little salt to it, too. Yeah. From gathering things from different players about what DA's defense is going to be, Montez Sweat called it complex. What are you picking up on what we might see from this defensive unit?
Can we just start with the persona a little bit? Because Ben Johnson gets all the credit for the swear words. Dennis Allen's out there swearing a lot too.
In a visor.
Yes, in a visor. He's got his chest puffed out. Like, he's direct. He is correcting the details instantly when mistakes are happening on the field. So that's good to see. He's fiery. He's energetic. He's in their faces, veteran players' faces, for making mistakes. That's good to see. I think just overall, adding Dennis Allen takes so much off the plate of Ben Johnson, where you have this first-time head coach who's got to build an offense around a young quarterback with so many different weapons, with a brand new offensive line, with 5 new starters, really, if you want to sum it all up. So there's a lot for Ben Johnson to get used to in his job, apart from building the offense. Dennis Allen takes so much off his plate, just like Vic Fangio did for Matt Nagy in 2018. We saw how that worked out. Vic actually went on to become the head coach of the Broncos. So I don't know if Dennis Allen's going to get his third opportunity, but I think he's here to help Ben Johnson in so many ways, just beyond building that good defense. He could give him so much advice in how to run a team, be the front man in front of the team, how to handle the media, what not to do with your scheduling. Dennis Allen provides so many resources beyond just the defensive strategy, I think, for this team right now.
And it was interesting to hear, I forgot who said it exactly, but they said that Ben Johnson is probably as good as all the position coaches and themselves at those jobs too. And the way he's able to speak the language of each position has been impressive to this team. When it comes to the offensive line, everyone's still going to look at the left tackle position. Is Braxton Jones going to be healthy? And if he is he the starter come week 1? We see Ozzie Chipola, we see Karan Amagaji taking turns. And I like how Ben Johnson, pretty black and white, lays it out there. The best pass rush protector is gonna win the job at left tackle. When you think about who they have available in all the different scenarios, what's your prediction for who wins that job?
Right now, since we haven't seen Braxton Jones, I want to say that maybe Ozzie Chipola might have the inside track on this, even though they're rotating every single day, him and Karan Amagaji. He's a second-round pick, and he was drafted by Ben Johnson. The others just weren't. That's a hard reality of the NFL. When you're a draft pick of a certain coaching staff, your standing's a bit different. But for me, I'm circling those 2 joint practices against the Dolphins and the Bills, right? They're coming to town. And then the first day of pads. Those are 3 big days for Ozzie Chipola. Can he handle Montez Sweat? Can he handle the best Bills pass rushers? Can he handle the best Dolphins pass rushers in one-on-one situations? Because that's what the Bears want to see. That's how the Bears are going to test them. And I think that's how the left tackle position, I think that's how that competition is going to unfold, how it's going to be determined.
All right. Unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers is back in the news.
I heard.
Because this just happened today. So he'll make his return to Soldier Field. What's your reaction to Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers? This is what we're going to end on.
I just feel let's use a Marvel reference with Thanos, right?
I'm not a Marvel person, so this is terrible to ask me.
Okay. Well,
other people will understand.
He's inevitable in a sense, because you knew he was going to be a storyline. You knew he was going to come back. He does his own thing. He marches to his own beat, all that stuff. But you knew he was going to come back, and the only team left for him was the Steelers. So here he is. I'm not sure how good he really is, what his health is, how much he's really engaged in being that full-time quarterback. There's a lot that goes into it, and he's on the latter stages of his career. But sad but true, but he's still better than half the quarterbacks in the league, and that's why he's with the Steelers, as they move on from a former Bears quarterback to go to him.
Let's hope he doesn't come back to Soldier Field and do the whole I own Chicago thing once again and break Bears fans' hearts. Adam, Jahns, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Cassie.
The Offseason is now available on Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.